This is Elton Kane for Finextra at Sibos, and I'm here with Gottfried Leibbrandt of Swift. With all the buzz around new technologies emerging, what do you see as the major new things happening in the fintech space?
A lot would be the answer, and I can only say we had a great opening speaker this year, Piyush Gupta, who I think gave a very good summary of at least 5 trends. I can never remember more than 3, but it was at least everything around cloud, everything around mobile and location-based services, everything around APIs. So we had a discussion at lunch. It's almost like in biology. Evolution moves from Cambrian explosion to mass extinction. And I've lived through the previous Cambrian explosion in the early 90s and then the mass extinction in 2001, 2002. I think we're seeing a bit of that right now. We're in the middle of that. The question, of course, will be the next mass extinction. Will that be the banks going extinct or a lot of the startups going extinct? I tend to side with the opening speaker who say it will be the banks that manage to really absorb this and transform themselves and give better customer experience will be the ones that will thrive and survive in that new environment. But clearly a lot going on. A lot around blockchain, but also just basic mobile technologies at the consumer end. In transaction banking, a lot of talk about what are ways to do faster settlement, what are ways to build new common infrastructures around KYC, sanctions, and a lot of these challenges that are coming.
With Sibos being in Singapore this year, it's a good time to talk about Swift's plans for the Asian region. What do you have on the agenda?
Well, we have more than plans. We have a lot of stuff going on. We now have the biggest Sibos ever, bar I think just one, Amsterdam, is here in Singapore. So we have passed the 8,000 delegates mark yesterday. So it's a really big Sibos with almost half the speakers coming from the region, with a third of the delegates coming from the region. So that's really good. Swift. We've really bet on the region, I think about 3 or 4 years ago. One of our key executives moved here. We now run Europe actually from Asia, from a commercial standpoint. We have a hub in Kuala Lumpur where we do a lot of our operations. We have one of our key bets on real-time payments in Australia, where we're building the new AU-NPP infrastructure. We have a Go Local venture with the Indian banks in India. A lot of stuff going on around the renminbi and convertibilities, supporting the offshore centers, supporting the RMB tracker. So I think there's a lot going on in Asia Pacific for us, and we start to see that translate into higher growth in Asia than in the other regions. So we see that now in the figures as well.
With Sibos moving to Geneva again next year, how do you see the program and shape of the show evolving?
It's interesting. It's always very difficult. We sort of make a program, but it's only as you get closer, actually it's only at Sibos itself that you understand what is the buzz this year, what do you find people interesting. I think we were fortunate this year that we had a program that was anticipating a lot around fintech and a lot around Asia Pac, and it turns out that those are the key themes. For Geneva, who knows? I would expect that fintech is still very high on the agenda. And I think that we'll be talking about regulation and geopolitics again. And maybe a lot about Europe as well. Europe is not standing still. We've now had T2S implemented. There's a lot of discussion what's next for Target 2. A lot of discussion in Europe around real-time payments infrastructure. So there'll be lots of stuff to talk about on Europe as well there.
Look forward to talking more about it then. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.